Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for a community development model? I'm RC David, and with me in the room, RC Diana, RC Melissa, RC Griffin, and the GRC Jordan.
We're here!
We are going to go through this community development model, and we are excited to let you know.
Our philosophy behind community development. We want it to be safe, which is the physical and emotional wellness and holistic growth. We want it to be inclusive, for the environment, an environment that celebrates differences in residents. And we want it to be supportive, which is academically, educationally, and interpersonally.
We want to go over a quick rundown of some of the new components of our community development model. Please know that this is just a list of things that you will be expected to help out with and help facilitate in your communities. During training, we will have a session with your specific staff, so you will learn more about what this means individually, knowing that each community will approach these slightly differently based on community needs. So right from the start, we are excited for you to be an active participant in check-in. Right as you get here, some of our communities already have students living in them, so we want you to start building those relationships quickly. Also, we are excited for you to help with Cowboy Connect events and getting our students connected to campus as soon as they get here. Assisting in recruiting with Community Senate and continuing to support Community Senate is an important part of our community development model. During your first community meeting, we will be distributing event interest forms to ensure that we are catering towards the needs and wants of our students as we're looking at community events for each specific community. Throughout the year, you will conduct consistent floor meetings. You will also, at the beginning of the year, facilitate roommate agreements with roommate pairs in your community as necessary. Throughout the year, you also learn about the stages of community mapping and how that will help you get to know your residents. Throughout the year, we're going to ask that you help with some academic check-ins, whether that be early alert meetings for students who might be struggling or learning more about the academic successes of your residents. In addition to some weekly tradition events that are community specific, we will have large-scale pillar programming events, which will center around four main pillars of growth and learning that we're excited to share with our students. Throughout the year, you will be having intentional interactions with your residents. This is different than intentional conversations. We really want to focus on some natural, holistic relationship building with your students and yourself, so you really get to know those students in your community. We're going to focus a little bit on community walks as opposed to duty rounds, which we have really focused on in the past. We want those on-call shifts to really be holistic about getting to know members of the community as we are following up with policy things and facilities issues. We will be asking you to help with some incident follow-ups, as well as health and safety checks, and of the month or OTM submissions to help recognize the amazing things going on in our community. As a reminder, our focus is on ongoing and genuine relationship building while respecting the RA's needs. So hopefully a lot of this is holistic and things that as an RA you naturally do and want to do, such as trying to get to know your residents and really being able to help serve them as students of the University of Wyoming. I wanted to take a minute to go in depth on some more of our changes within the community development model. In the previous slide, we talked about intentional conversations being replaced by a different type of interaction. We really want to focus on getting to know residents in our community, building that community starting right from the beginning, and naturally growing in that relationship with residents throughout the entire year.
And one of the things, Melissa, that I think I would add is that we are always building community, whether that's an RHA, whether that's a community senate, an RA, an RC, everything we do is community building.
Absolutely.
Sure. And I think this transitions nicely into our next slide. So community walks required outside of our on-call shifts. So these are going to be known as our non-calls. And the specifics are going to be spelled out by each individual supervisor. But the point of it is we want to increase our visibility as staff, but also we want you all to have interactions with members of your community outside of your floor and outside policy violations, right? So for example, if you're on the 8th floor of White Hall, I don't want the only time you're interacting with the second floor residents is when there's a policy violation, right? I want you building positive relationships with those students.
Yeah, I think to add to that, David, it's about being seen as a positive leader and role model for your entire community, which helps our students get connected on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
So our floor programs of the past are being replaced by weekly traditions. You'll work with your supervisor about what that looks like for each individual community.
I would add in there, Griffin, for our RAs who are FIG RAs, those SEEDS requirements, those programming that you need to do for FIG requirements can be included in these weekly tradition events.
And I'm excited for weekly traditions only because I think there's so much opportunity there to do something different rather than the traditional plan a program, whereas you can really take into account what your residents want. So if you have a really active floor, maybe your weekly tradition is going to Half Acre every Sunday. Or if you have a floor that's really interested in community events, right, you could get involved in doing some service. There's just so much opportunity here. So don't want you all to feel limited.
Yeah, so definitely feel free to chat with your supervisor during one-on-ones, and they will help kind of get you where you need to go for those weekly traditions.
Yeah, so next is academic check-ins occur with all students regularly, in addition to specific early alert checks. So this just means that, once again, like David said, know your floor, know your residents, right? You should be checking in with them, on a regular basis. And this includes grade, this includes how they're doing, what's going on in their lives, so.
And to add on to that, I think oftentimes we focus on providing support for those students who might be struggling with a class, which is absolutely necessary and critical, but we also want to take some time to check in with students who might be excelling and celebrate those academic achievements as well.
And then also, I think maybe see if we can connect it to a career path, right? So if they're really excelling, see if there's internships available that you can help connect them to. See if there's a professor who they can get in and maybe get research opportunities, right? I really like that of reframing academic check-ins to not just do check-ins with our students who are academically struggling, but also checking in academically with our students who are excelling.
Yes.
Definitely.
So these next two slides kind of go hand in hand, but for our large-scale events, they're going to be structured around UW's 4 pillars, which you can see on the screen. RCs will go ahead and assist with coordinating that, and that's kind of where you'll be put onto different committees, and you will take the lead on planning those large-scale events with our help.
And the RCs will be there every step of the way, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll be going over what this looks like during Ian Hall and what the structure will be and what we're expecting. So just know right now we are transitioning to these pillar programs, but we will go over more details once you get here.
As you start thinking about all of these events that you're hoping to have within your community and those large scale events, we want you to know that it's important to note we are not requiring a pre-program evaluation or interest form. It's just going to be replaced by a post-program assessment. We are hoping in doing that takes off a little of that administrative pressure as you're trying to really plan a solid program. But we really want you to focus on that post-program assessment, because in doing that assessment, we find ways that we can continue to improve and provide more for our community.
And I think that's an awesome opportunity for students in the future to see what has worked, right? So we're good. We're not restarting this. We're good. Sorry, y'all. My phone went off. So I think this is a great opportunity for you all to find out what works and then having a tracking record of that. So in the future, as other new RAs come into this position, they can see what's been done before that's been successful.
I would also add, while we're not requiring a pre-program eval, go ahead and chat with your supervisors during those one-on-ones. If you need help with any of the planning process, we're a great resource to take those programs from kind of your thoughts to an inception stage. So feel free to chat with us at any stage of the process.
Definitely.
So next, the OTM focus should be on residents instead of only staff peers. I think this is great. I think it's, obviously we want to celebrate everybody, our staff and our residents, but just knowing their achievements, knowing what your residents are doing, being involved in their lives, that's really important.
I would add, I think it's important for us to recognize the important contributions that all of our staff team make, but sometimes it really does make a difference for our students and our residents and our communities who are doing really amazing things to get that recognition.
And I think also about our custodial staff, right, who
Exactly.
work so hard to, and as well as our dining staff, right, who work so hard to create a good experience. Like I know Matt in the dining hall helps Griffin every single day with his special requests.
Amen.
And so I think those are great people who we should really try and recognize in our communities.
And while we are kind of focusing on OTMs here, there are other recognition avenues. So don't think that OTMs are the only way to recognize somebody. They are just a great resource that you have at hand.
Finally, the last piece is that every RA will have a representative from their community that serves on Community Senate. This is a great way to get our students connected to leadership opportunities and really being an advocate for the communities that they live in. Encouraging every student to have a voice is critical, and we don't think it's a hard ask to say that every RA will shoulder tap one person to tell them that they would be great in a leadership role in their community. Community Senate is a fun organization that promotes the needs of our students in community and also meets their social needs as well. And so it's a great opportunity to get a student highly connected in our community that might lead to other leadership opportunities in the future.
Okay, well, this is the 2017-2018 Community Development Model. This will be in your RA manual. It's a great resource to just kind of look month by month for expectations for the whole year. So, anytime you want to look back at this to see what needs to be done with programming or things like that with your community, I think this is a great resource. So, and we will go more into detail with this later. So if you have any questions about this, you can definitely talk to your supervisor, your RC. They would know.
All right, y'all. So we're going to talk a little bit about the sample of a pillar program outline, and I've got Melissa and Griffin here, so they'll chime in when they have a chance. So we want to just give you an outline of what this is going to look like when you begin to plan a pillar program. Now, do know that you don't have to panic about memorizing all of this. There's going to be plenty of time during in-hall as well as during training for you to really familiarize yourself with our CDM. But here's a couple of things to know. So the first, when we talk about our pillar programs, you're going to be broken up on your staffs into a committee. This will be consisting of several members on your staff that work to plan a program for your community focusing on our 4 pillars. So you want to think a little bit about some of your learning outcomes. What are you trying to accomplish through this program? Who you're going to partner with, and some of the things you're going to work with.
As we talk about who you're going to partner with, we really hope that during these events you work with some of our campus partners, and this blueprint and outline will actually provide you contact information for some campus partners we think would be helpful in these events.
Also, make sure you utilize your supervisor, as they are a great resource to connecting you to some of those partners as well.
Absolutely. Thank you all. So a couple other things that we want to touch on. Really try and be intentional with these, thinking through the whole program. So how are you going to advertise it? All the way to the end of how are you going to evaluate your success? Whether that's a survey done there, we can use SurveyMonkey, which our university has a partnership with. All those things we want you to be thinking about throughout the planning process.
We really hope that this is a tool that helps all of our large-scale events be consistent and successful throughout the year, and it's really built to help those committees working on those events have an outline and a basis to start from.
Yep.
Awesome.
In conclusion, we want you to build ongoing relationships with your residents. We want a goal to be to know other residents in communities outside of your own. We want you to actively support student leadership opportunities. Your programming should be directed to support UW's mission. We want recognizing built-in elements of the RA position in relations to community development. This is just kind of a brief overview of the community development model. If you have other questions, feel free to chat with your supervisor, and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you.